Welcome to English 1301, Composition and Rhetoric 1. I am your professor, Libby Bennett. I have my bachelor's in professional writing from the University of Houston and my Master of Arts in English from National University in San Diego. Today I wanted to go over an abbreviated version of the course syllabus, introduce you to the textbook and the online classroom. So how do you reach the professor? The best way to reach me is through email in D2L. You can also reach me at my Lone Star email address. However, a lot of times student emails get put into a spam folder unless they're coming from a lonestar.edu email address. If they go into spam, I may not ever see them, or I may not see them for several days. I check email Monday through Thursday, occasionally on Friday mornings, but always Monday through Thursday. I typically work in the daytime and evening time is spent with my family. I'll also send one-way updates through remind.com. If you want to sign up for Remind, it's a one-way text service where I send updates about the class. I have some that are already preloaded to remind you of certain due dates throughout the term, but also in the event that something comes up and I want to share it with you in a quick way, I will send it to you. These are the instructions, which can also be found on your last page of your course syllabus. I want to highlight some important information about the syllabus. I'm first going to talk about the course in general, and then my policies on attendance, discussion boards, what the large writing assignments look like. How do you prepare for class? What is my drop rule and what is the school's drop rule? What are the chapter grammar quizzes like? How do I determine your grade? And then I'll introduce you to the instructional outline. English 1301 is a multi-paragraph composition course including language study and mechanics of writing with examples from selected readings. That basically means you're going to be reading and writing a lot. At the end of the term, I hope that you will have mastered the following. Demonstrate a knowledge of individual collaborative writing processes, develop ideas with appropriate support, following standard guidelines and documenting. That's a long way of saying using MLA 8th edition. Write in a style appropriate to audience and purpose. Read, reflect, and respond critically to a variety of text, and use edited American English and academic essays. So if any of you have been educated overseas, you've probably learned British English, and there's just enough difference for it to be a little tricky at first. Attendance and participation. I take attendance through your discussion boards, which I call DBs. You must complete the initial post and 2 responses in order to be counted present. So if you miss any one of those 3 criteria, you will be counted absent. Attendance is worth 10% of your grade. If you miss 0 DBs in the semester, you will have 100 for your attendance grade. If you miss 1 to 3, your grade will be 75. If you miss 4 or more, your grade will be a 0. This is really the area in the class that gives you some buffer if you're really trying to move that B to an A or that D to a C. Each week you will have 2 DBs. These are assignments that cannot be made up. I don't accept any late work. Sometimes you will need to quote and research outside sources in order to participate in the DB. Other times it'll be information I give you. However, the instructions are very clear as to when you need to do what. Your initial post, which is the response to my prompt, must be at least 250 words. So we're looking at several paragraphs. Your response posts to at least 2 classmates' posts must each be a minimum of 125 words. So we're going much further than just the simple great idea or I think that's great. Large writing assignments. There are 2 large essays that we're going to be working on in this class, but there are a total of 4 or 5 large writing assignments. Some of these build up to the larger essays. For example, when we go into the compare and contrast writing, there's an outline that I'm going to have you do, and it's a very specific outline, a very detailed outline. So it counts as one of the large writing assignments. I do not accept late papers. All papers must be in MLA 8th edition format. You've got to be careful here because MLA just updated in 2016. So as recently as this past summer, you might be familiar with MLA 7th edition. So one of the first things we're going to talk about in the class this first week is what MLA 8th edition is. Peer review is a very important part of academic writing, and it makes up part of the large writing assignments category. Both large essays are going to go through a peer review. Being prepared and fully working in that peer review is worth 30 points of your final essay grade. If you miss the peer review, the highest score you can get on your large essays is a 70. And without going through the peer review, it's very unlikely you're going to have a perfect paper. So you want to be very careful with these. This is very important. So preparing for class and late work. You should read all chapters assigned and complete chapter quizzes prior to completing the DBs. And I have this written out in the class. So you'll know what you need to read in what order and when. There's homework in an online lab format. That's the online textbook. I call it Revel. It's also, the textbook is Writing Today. But Revel is the program that actually has the interactive quizzes. So that's the online component. There's more information about this in D2L. Chapter and grammar quizzes. The chapter quizzes will come from Revel. The grammar quizzes are going to come from grammar exercises that I've created. These are also in D2L, and most of them are going to be assigned in the first earlier part of the term. And that's just so that you have a lot more time to practice using those skills. Their quizzes are uploaded into D2L. Some of the quizzes that you'll be doing are actually over readings. My drop rule. This is different than the college drop rule, the standard one that we'll go over a little bit later, but I will drop you from the course if you miss 2 consecutive DBs. So please note that's not in a calendar week. It can be any 2 consecutive ones within the term. Also, if you do not complete Essay 1 by the due date, I will drop you. Also, if you're not passing this course with at least a 60 on October 4th, 2016, you should consider dropping the course. In order to do that, you'll need to go to campus and take care of that, or at least call advising and see what they can do for you. A 60 passes the class and allows you to get into English 1302, but it requires a 70 to transfer to a university. So even if you're working on associates right now and you don't see yourself going on to a 4-year university, it's better to aim for the 70 so you always leave the door open so you can go back and get your bachelor's if you choose to. There are financial implications in dropping, and these could lead to problems with student visas, your GI benefits, and it could also impact what kind of loans or grants you might qualify for. Let's take a quick look at the textbook. I sent out a link that would bring you to Revel. It'll look something like this for you. Once you've signed in, you'll have the opportunity to find your class. You see more than one here for me because I'm teaching multiple sections of this course. You should only see the one though. If you look down here, it has dates, and these are when different items are due. They don't open until a week ahead of time, so you can't see them now because I'm recording the video more than a week before the due date. So for example, this one opens on August 28th. Whenever I say you have to do something in Revel, that means you go into the interactive ebook. You can't just read the physical book and then complete a quiz because the quiz is built into the online component. So you must have online access. Your first quiz grade is actually going to be proof that you purchased the online textbook. Grammar and mechanics. Everything you write in here must be written in complete sentences, whether that is an email to me or an assignment or a discussion board. Everything must be written in complete sentences. You must use proper grammar, punctuation, spelling, and mechanics to the best of your ability. This does not mean that I deduct so many points for each grammatical error, but what grammar allows us to do is talk about the content of what you write. So if your grammar or your mechanics and punctuation is off, I may not understand what you're saying. You can go online and find lots of style guides. You can actually purchase them. You can go into Amazon.com, for example, or even Barnes & Noble. You can find an MLA 8th edition. It's going to have grammar rules in it, as well as citation rules. You can also find other various types of handbooks. I'll give you information about online ones during the course. I determine your grade based on a percentage for each category. Attendance, as I said, is worth 10%. The DBs are worth 25. The online grammar assignments and quizzes are worth 10. The large writing assignments are worth 35, and the final exam is worth 20. Lone Star uses a 4-point GPA scale, so 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 60 to 69 is a D, and below 59 is an F. I've got an asterisk next to the C because I want you to remember that you need a 70 to transfer to a university. This is the general withdrawal policy from Lone Star. It's also in your syllabus. The withdrawal date is October 4th, 2016 for this 8-week session. I cannot drop you after that, and you cannot drop you after that. If you stop participating, you will earn an F. You need to take care of your transcripts because they are public record. So in 10 or 15 years, an employer could request your transcripts from your college. If the employer sees a W on a transcript, it gives you the opportunity to explain why you withdrew. If you see a bunch of Fs on a transcript, how do you explain that? Texas has the 6-drop rule, so make sure you're very aware of that. This affects your funding, whether that's loans or Pell Grants. I wanted to take you over now to D2L. If you simply sign on to d2l.lonestar.edu, you'll come to your own homepage, and your courses will be listed by semester on the left. The first thing you want to look at every day is this news section. But what you want to do is you want to see if I've got any information here. I will always have something at the beginning of the week. Once you've signed into our class and read news, the next place you go is content. Now, some instructors do treat D2L a little differently, but that's where I want you to go, is to content. Now, here is overview, and this is where your course syllabus is. So all the information I went over on those slides is right in here. If you go to the very last page, you'll get the information again for the Remind service. If you go up here, this is a tentative course outline. So this is a very general idea of what we're going to be doing each week, and I've got it listed by date. You can also come over here to upcoming events, and this will take you to a calendar. You can even see the full schedule. There's nothing going on yet because class hasn't started, but the full schedule will show you everything that we're doing for the entire term. As you can see, it's a lot of stuff, so that might be a little overwhelming. Where you're most likely to go is the table of contents, which is this part down here. FAQs is a link to some frequently asked questions that I get from time to time from students. Here is my virtual office. This is where you can post questions about the class, or if you don't understand an assignment, or if one of my links isn't working, that kind of thing. If you have a question about a grade, I ask that you email me that, because that is not the whole class's business, and everyone can see Libby's virtual office. I will answer in here Monday through Thursday. There's a possibility on a Friday, but generally speaking, maybe Monday through Thursday. Here are grammar references. Now these are found elsewhere in the class, but I decided to put them all together here for you. I've got videos here, handouts about a lot of different things that will help you as you go forward. As you can see, from here on, I have broken the course down by week. And in that, because this is just 8 weeks, I've decided to say, what do you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and what do you do Friday? I suggest on Sunday nights, or sometime before Monday, you click on each week, and you see what you have due. I won't go over the weeks in any detail at this point, because I have separate videos already recorded and ready to go each week. Please let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, I'll see you on the boards.